very unique model that I've heard about, and I've known friends and colleagues who have been here at BYU who have studied with you and have kind of come in as new students into a program, and they kind of get mainstreamed right into this, what I have, maybe for lack of a better word, called the Russ Crane model, or the Russ, this machine, this research machine that you have developed. Could you talk a little bit about that and how a new student might come in and how they move through the process and through their dissertation, et cetera?
Oh, sure. Well, it's I don't recall exactly where I heard about it at first, but I remember somebody talking about at one of the research conferences, just as a sidebar, one of the students talking about how they were mentored. And so what I call it is the standard model of faculty advising is what I call the wagon wheel approach, which is the faculty members at the center, and that has a relationship one-to-one with each student.
So each relationship being a spoke, yeah.
Each one being a spoke. And then the faculty member works more, so it's more one-to-one. And I did that for a number of years, but then I learned about this different kind of a model, which is more really kind of based on the Old Testament, where Moses was trying to govern the people after they'd left from out of Egypt, and long lines of people developed waiting for him to make decisions. And his father-in-law Jethro came to him and said, this is not good for you, it's not good for the people. Let's decentralize. And so that's my language, of course. But they decentralized where...
That doesn't show up in the Old Testament.
No, it doesn't.
So, economies of scale and decentralization.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the same principles are there.
Right.
It's not our language, of course. So they had captains of 1,000 and 50 and 10, and so it was it's like a pyramid model. And so the bottom of the pyramid is the least experienced person. The top of the pyramid is myself. I mean, not that I'm more important, it's just that I get paid a lot more than they do. So I try to make...
But you're also paid to do an administrative function.
That's right.
So
I'm paid to run.
So it's a role
the
that
system.
You have.
Yes, exactly. And so people who start working with me in their thesis or dissertation or both, they'll come in at the kind of the bottom of the pyramid where they learn, just basic, if in the clinical training they're brand new clinicians and so forth, and so what I have is each junior person is supervised by the next most senior person, who is supervised by the next most senior person, who then I supervise. And so there's a real team there. Everybody who's supervising a junior person gets credit for presentations and publications that they help with. They get really have a chance to mentor younger students in thesis development. So I don't do anything that they can do, and I try to do so the way it works functionally is a person enters the system. I have 2 new master's students starting this fall, for example, and this is March. They don't actually start till August, but they're already we've hooked up, and they're already reading the articles in the background for the healthcare projects.
Okay.
So they know when they get here they'll be quite as lost as sometimes brand new.
So
people.
they have, I mean, unlike the students that other MFT programs may be taking in, they know that they have a role in this healthcare and MFT research project.
Yes.
They may not know specifically what it is, but because they're going to be working with you, they have a pretty clear idea of what's going to be expected of them. And so you're letting them do some of that groundwork right now.
I do.
Yeah. Okay.
And I even have my senior students interview them as potential members of the team. And so they have a more senior student that they can consult with on everything from APA format to how the clinic runs and how to do record management and case records and how to run data sets and everything that I sort of would be redundant for me to be teaching them.
Right.
They learn from the other senior students.
So in contrast to that spoke model, the wheel that you talked about, so if I'm more of a wheel mentor, then I'm teaching each one of my students
Yes.
how to run frequencies in SPSS,
Yes.
how to do a literature review,
Yes.
how APA format should look, those kinds of things.
Yes.
So there's a lot of possible redundancies in that model.
Well, and I find too, there's gaps,
Yeah.
because I would not remember, I hadn't taught this person how to do that,
Uh-huh.
and so it would be really what I call clunky,
Some of the spokes would be a little shorter.
really less efficient.
Yeah.
Just to speak to the efficiency of it, though,
Yes.
I think my production is measured by presentations and publications. At least it doubled when I went to this model.
Mm.
The author list got bigger,
Right.
but I don't care. I mean, that's it's not that important to me where I am in the author list.
Right. Well, and not because you're a full professor, you have
Yeah.
tenure and these kinds of things, but you're also changing what you want. It sounds to me more like you are interested in this research agenda at one level, but you're also interested in training the next generation of researchers.
Exactly.
And so depending on how you look at what is most important in your world, those two may shift in importance.